Hello. I feel like I should dance on stage. So I noticed a lot of empty seats out in the front. Is it because you're afraid that I'm going to throw Bitcoin, it's going to hit you? Okay, so I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. I know all of you understand Bitcoin, but I'm going to talk about it from a different kind of perspective, which is why is Bitcoin so special? And the reason is it's really a different kind of ownership. Okay, so it's a new kind of ownership. Well, what is, the slides are formatted differently, but I'll continue. So what is ownership today? Ownership today is actually through what we call title and registrations. It means that everything you own, all the large assets that you own, houses, cars, real estate, stocks, bonds, are all owned under your name, and it's tied to identity. Okay, it's tied to your identity. And finance is all about identity. Think about bank accounts, brokerages, even things are online, digital identity, even like airline rewards, hotel rewards, even accounts, Facebook, PayPal, all the payment systems, all the gift certificates are all tied to identity. Now, what about possession? Possession is a notion of holding something. Okay, so you might hold some money. You guys familiar with this purple note? I heard it's not very popular. Yeah, so if you have any extras, please hand them over. I'll collect them from you. But physical possession, in the past, ownership was about physical possession. And that's how money came about, in terms of gold and silver and paper money. So even today, this carries over. So things like jewelry, necklaces, earrings, watches, rings, these are all owned physically. You might own red wine. You have a collection of red wine. You might own some physical goods that are not tied to your name. Okay? So what are the problems today? The problems today is actually when you own assets and goods that are tied to identity, there's actually a third party in control. Think about that. My airline ticket is assigned to me by name. Because it's assigned to my name, I cannot freely trade it, sell it, or give it to my friend. Whereas if you watch a movie, if you go to a movie theater to watch movies, thankfully today, movie tickets are not tied to your name. So if you buy a movie ticket in advance and you can't go, you can give it to your friend or spouse or child. So the point is that when something is not tied to your name, it's actually worth more. This 500 euro is actually not tied to my name. That's why I can freely give it to you. But if it were an airline ticket, if it were any sort of stock certificate or real estate transaction, if this were the title of my real estate, my home, can I give it to you? Not really. I need approval from the government. And it's been known in some countries, probably not this country, but in some countries, especially in Asia and developing countries, even the transfer of real estate needs government approval, and sometimes they disallow it if you're selling to a foreigner or a non-resident of the country. So, on the other hand, physical ownership, physical control, having physical control of this paper money actually does not give me control over the value. When this euro first got issued over 15 years ago, 20 years ago when the euro came to the market, the 500 euro, even just the 100 euro was worth much more money than it is today. So my point is, just look at these examples where it's the German Deutschmark pre-war, or the Zimbabwe money that has gone through hyperinflation, or in Venezuela, the bolivar has lost a lot of its value due to inflation, or even in India where they actually actively banned the 1,500 rupee notes. They just replaced it overnight, literally. So the question is, in Europe, they're talking about getting rid of the 500 euros. Right? So even if I have it in my hand, maybe one day this is worth less, or worst of all, it's worth nothing. So is there a Fiat Banknote that will never depreciate in value? That's a question for you guys. Is there a fiat banknote that would never depreciate in value? What do you guys think? Well, it's actually this one. In Europe, in tourist destinations, they sell this €0. It has the number 0 on it to tell you that it's worth €0, but they actually sell it to you for €3. But it's actually very honest because it's like all fiat money goes to 0. Even this €500 will eventually go to 0. Just like this, in the blink of your eye. Okay, so this is an example of the €0 note that literally will never depreciate further because it's already at 0. So, is there a new type of ownership? So aside from ownership by possession and ownership through identity by your name, is there a new way to own something? And the answer is yes. In this digital world, we have now digital assets, and that's what Bitcoin and blockchain allows for. So trust is now based on mathematics. Sorry, the word got cut off. Trust is based on mathematics, and ownership is actually by information. What we mean by there is that now you don't have to have your name tied to digital currency, and you don't need to actually get to hold digital currency because it's digital. But what we're saying is through information, you can have ownership. And this is a new ownership model. So with Bitcoin, we have real ownership because it's something that cannot be confiscated. So think about physical goods. They can be confiscated from you. The police, the state police, or the army can come and take it away from you. That's how people had their, through many years, through our human history, a lot of people have had their belongings confiscated by government and police force. And also, when things are in your name, you can arbitrarily be denied access to it when they freeze your accounts through sanctions or just through targeting. Okay? So government, through the court of law, can take away your assets if it's in your name, whether it's real estate, whether it's money in your bank account, whether it's stocks in your brokerage account, or even reward points in airline rewards or hotel rewards. Okay? With Bitcoin, with information-based ownership, you have real ownership because they cannot get that information out of your head without your cooperation. So it's what I call freedom of money. Now with Bitcoin, we've had freedom since 2009. It's a brand new digital asset we know. We know all these things. It's limited to 21 million. It's based on information and math, borderless and global. It's not identity-based. And this is key, okay? Bitcoin, despite all of the exchanges and custody wallets where they ask you for know your customer, KYC, more information, that's just their business model. Please understand that KYC is not part of Bitcoin itself. It's just that Bitcoin companies and exchanges, I ran one for the longest time, required it as part of their compliance, as part of their regulation with government. But Bitcoin itself doesn't require your name or information. You can own Bitcoin anonymously. You can even own Bitcoin for your pets. If you have dogs and cats, they can own Bitcoin. So because it's not tied to identity, the best part is that there is no third-party control. Okay, so this is one of the key things. So information now is money. Do you notice all the ones and zeros on the screen? How much money does that represent? See, you're sitting too far away, that's why you can't see it. If you're in the first 3 rows, I could throw Bitcoin at you and hit you. I know someone would like that. Okay, so information is money, and today I'm going to show you this old 100 euro note. Not 500, but 100. I'll throw 100 euros at you guys. Would you like that? Who wants 100 euros? All right, you guys sit closer, okay? Get ready, don't blink, okay? So here's a Bitcoin account. Here's a Bitcoin account. If you check it with your Block Explorer, you'll see on there, there's about 0.0133, which is 100 euros today. And I purposely share this slide for longer because I want you to really memorize this And that way you can send me money anytime you want. Because there you go, try it. Yeah. Is it in there? Yeah, 100 euros. 100 euros. Well, the private key is coming later. But I'm going to explain this. So this is a decentralized account where whoever owns a private key or whoever has access to the private key can take the money. Okay, it's just a simple Bitcoin account, a classic Bitcoin address. And you can literally see that there are 0.0133 BTCs in it, which is worth 100 euros. And if I show the private key, which I just did, and I don't show it because you're too slow, I'll show it again. The private key is the ownership mechanism to unlock the Bitcoins. So if you took a picture of it, which it's too late for you now, it's there. There's a prefix, but the key should say L3QE2, and it ends in 568DQ. Okay, and then that's a private key on the blockchain, where with that private key, you can create a transaction using open source software and decode it and extract the 100 euros. And you can send it to anywhere you want. Okay, so by showing this slide, I've given one lucky person 100 euros. And even though there are many people here with their cameras, not all of you will get it, because the nature of blockchain is whoever signs a transaction first, moves it, spends it on the blockchain, that's the record, and no one else can change that afterwards. So even if I have the same private key 10 minutes later, 1 hour later, 2 days later, or even when multiple people have the private key 2 days later, we cannot go back and reverse a transaction. Basically, only one person gets to do it. So this is what's great about Bitcoin and blockchain, this notion of moving value on the internet, on the blockchain digitally. Okay? You guys got it? Someone get it yet? Not yet? Wow, this is see, if you sit closer, you can get it. Okay, he's trying really hard. I'm gonna give him a chance, okay? So speaking of, so I'm starting a new company called BALLET. We make a physical wallet called the BALLET Real Bitcoin Wallet. It's a stainless steel card with a QR code on it. The concept is similar. We just print the QR code address on it, and then the private key is underneath a tamper evidence sticker, so that this wallet is so easy. There's no setup. There's no backing up. There's no electronics, no cables, Bluetooth, no batteries, no seed recovery, backup phrases to write down, no passwords, passphrases. It's really easy to use, just like this slide. Okay, so Bitcoin is just information. Okay, in the end, it's just information, and the best part is because it's information, it's like money in the cloud. What we mean by that is now, for the first time, we as a society, whether we're in the first world country, a developed country, or a developing nation, anywhere in the world, 4 corners of the world, we now have the ultimate hard currency, and that is Bitcoin. Okay, so for people who think Bitcoin is not valuable, for people who think Bitcoin has no uses, I vehemently disagree. I think Bitcoin is great because it's truly a digital store of value that has immune to inflation due to its upper limit of 21 million. And it's really useful globally for people to, sounds like someone got it. Yeah, you got it? 100 euros, okay. Now you owe me lunch. I heard there's a really nice steakhouse down the street. Okay, so it's really the ultimate hard currency, okay, that allows people to really store their money, invest their money, move it all around the world at a moment's notice. You can even throw money at people through PowerPoint slides like I just did now. Okay, so let's talk about the Bitcoin market. I know, how many of you actively hold Bitcoin right now? How many of you traders are you hold for long term? Long term hodlers? Yeah. Any traders? Any like day traders? Well, day traders are all at home. Why are you not in front of a computer? The markets are moving. Oh, he's on his phone, day trading. Okay, so why do Bitcoin prices keep going up? When I say keep going up, I don't mean in the time span of 1 minute or 1 hour or 1 day, nor do I mean it in the span of 1 week or 1 year, but in the long trend, in the last 10 years, 11 years. Why do prices keep going up? And the reason is this, okay? Bitcoin's value does not come from the endorsement acceptance, or regulation by governments. This is a common misnomer. A lot of people, a lot of your friends, a lot of our relatives and friends, outsiders, they think that Bitcoin has to have value because governments have to endorse it, accept it, or it has to be regulated. And turns out it doesn't do that. Governments do not endorse it, nor do they accept it wholeheartedly, and nor can they regulate it. They will try to, but they can't really because it's information, right? For example, the slide previously with the private key, is there a regulation that says I cannot show you that slide? Right? If we're in a free country with freedom of information, I can show you as many QR codes as I want. And if they happen to have money in it, well, it is what it is. Did I just conduct a lottery by doing that, right? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't go ask too many questions. Okay, so instead, Bitcoin's value comes from the inherent failures, limitations, and inconveniences of the competition, the fiat money system. Okay, the fiat money system, over my 8.5 years of being in this industry, I ran BTCC for 5 years. I sold it last year. I left the company. So now I'm running a new startup. So with all this experience, I can tell you firsthand that managing an exchange, doing business, even many business owners here, moving money around the world, moving money through the banking system is so inconvenient and troublesome. Okay? So the competition is really the money system today, the money system today. All right, so let's talk about investment. A lot of you are hodlers, right? Hold on to your dear life, right? Investing in Bitcoin. So what are some mistakes to avoid? I'm going to give you guys just a top briefing of some of what I consider the 4 most important mistakes to avoid. Are you guys ready for that? Okay, number 1, it's the indecisiveness to invest in Bitcoin. How many of you here, by raising your hand in a round of applause, how many of you here heard about Bitcoin but procrastinated, was hesitant to buy Bitcoin until much later? Raise your hand. Yeah? A lot of you, right? Did you miss out on Bitcoin when it was already $1,000? Many of you did? No? Some people were talking about in the old days missing out to buy Bitcoin when it was $100, even $10, even $1, right? All these indecisiveness. That happened to me in 2011. I was indecisive. I didn't buy Bitcoin when it was cheap. And the second mistake, by round of applause, is how many of you did not buy enough? Come on, let's clap. Well, at least, so for those of you clapping, the louder you clap, it shows me at least you bought some afterwards. Okay. That's the thankfulness. Okay, and number 3 is selling after a small gain. Have any of you sold your Bitcoin after a small gain? Not too embarrassed to say it? Oh, wow, good. Yes, we've all done that. Sell it after like a 30% gain. You're like, oh my, 30%, I made 30% in 6 months. It's amazing. The worst part is not, the worst part is people, I actually have real friends that I encouraged to buy Bitcoin in 2013. They bought it at $100. And then when they got to 300, they were so excited they sold all of it. And when I meet them now, I ask them, how's your Bitcoin? They're like, oh, that was a long story. They sold it. They got off the bus. So don't ever sell all your Bitcoin after a small gain. When I say small gain, not 10%, 30%. Even 300%, don't sell it. If you want to sell it, I'll give you the advice later. But okay, let me go to the last one. The last one is the mistake is to avoid is selling after panic crash. Okay, I know now today, we're already a year and a half or almost 2 years after the big bull run in 2017. So we're certainly not in a panic crash right now. But for those of you who sold in January 2019, or those of you who sold in January 2014, after the big rises, if you sell after panic crash, then it's likely you're not going to get back in. Okay, so my advice, the organizer asked me to talk a little bit about investing advice. I would say this, okay, if you have Bitcoin, I don't care if it's 1 Bitcoin or a fraction of a Bitcoin. If you invest, recently today, someone just bought 200 euros worth of Bitcoin from me this morning. By the way, if you, for some of you interested in this BALLET physical wallet, come to me after I talk. If you buy some Bitcoin or transfer some Bitcoin in it, I'll give one to you for free for you to test it and use it, okay? So for those of you who have purchased Bitcoin as an investment, as a long-term investment, remember this, okay? I personally think it would have the potential to go up 100 times where it is today. Okay, so today is about $8,000, 7,000 some euros. I think it can go to 700,000 euros, close to $1 million, or even at $1 million. And this is like a 20-year, 30-year horizon. Okay, some of us don't have that much time to wait, but you remember you can always pass it on to your children, right, to the next generation. Okay, so the Bitcoins I've purchased, I invested in, I don't expect to use all of it, spend all of it in my lifetime. I expect to pass it on to my children and grandchildren and so on. So, however, if you want to sell some for profit, wait at least it goes up 5 times, 5x in price, and at that time you can sell 1/4 of your holdings, up to 1/4. So I'm not saying you should sell 1/4, but maximum 25%. And then for the next 25%, wait for it to go at least 20 times today. Okay, so 5 times would be 35,000 euros. 20 times would be 140,000 euros. Okay, and then the next 25%, sell it for 100 times. And then the final 25%, you could hold it up until 500 or 1,000 times. And that's most likely for your children or grandchildren to sell. Okay, so I obviously have a very optimistic Bitcoin maximalist view. That's why I created the startup to make the BALLET cryptocurrency wallets. Okay, so governments actually will try to suppress Bitcoin, and they'll keep doing that. And the reason is that it challenges their sovereignty to issue currency. Okay, so for example, you recently heard that the governments, the global regulators have, about Facebook's Libra stablecoin currency? It's facing a lot of headwind. A lot of regulators are urging caution. They're saying it's very risky. It's funny how they say it. They say it's very risky for Facebook to launch the Libra cryptocurrency. And I read between the lines, I know what's going on. They don't mean it's risky for Facebook to do it. What they really mean is risky for the central banks that Facebook is now the new competition. So they're trying to stop the competition before it even gets out of the gate. Okay, because once Facebook issues their new stablecoin and more companies adopt it, it essentially renders these euros, these fiat money useless, because people will start using the digital version and not use the paper version and the banking version. And what's going to happen is Libra, like the Libra Association and other stable coins, they will in effect become the de facto central banks of the future. Okay, so that's the danger. That's a danger it's really a risk to the existing central bank monetary system, and not a risk to consumers as much. Okay, because consumers, we use digital payments all the time already, whether it's PayPal, whether it's digital, credit cards and payment systems. In China, there's Alipay, WeChat Pay. In Japan, Korea, all over the world, they have digital payment systems already. It doesn't make it very hard or dangerous. It's really more of a danger to the governments and their control. Okay, so your digital assets, because it's in informational form, it cannot be confiscated. Okay, so Bitcoin was designed to survive. So what I'm saying here is information is money for the first time. Money is now information, and it is a new kind of ownership. A new kind of ownership where it is information-based and not possession or tied to your name. Now, so follow me on Twitter, Bobby C. Lee. I'm the founder and CEO of BALLET. We make this new cryptocurrency wallet. So I'm happy to tell you more about this off stage. But essentially, what I've done here is an oxymoron. Okay, I admit this. Okay, what we did was, because digital currency is cryptographic and information-based, what I actually did was made it into a physical product. So we call this Real Bitcoin. The wallet's called Real Bitcoin. We have made and turned Bitcoin back into a physical product. It's a stainless steel card, and it's 1 millimeter thick. And what it allows you to do is keep Bitcoin on here in a non-electronic safekeeping way. And this way, all your eggs are in this basket, but you cannot afford to lose it. So there's no password to remember. There's no QR codes for you to memorize or back up. There's no recovery fees and all that. It makes it really easy to onboard new customers and new people. So not necessarily for this audience, but your friends and family, as a gift to them, to allow them to buy their first Bitcoin. Any of you who don't own your Bitcoin, anyone who doesn't own any Bitcoin at all today? Oh, wow, quite a few hands. Okay, so all of you who raise your hands, come talk to me. If you want to buy Bitcoin, I'll give you a free BALLET wallet and show you how easy it is to use it. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bobby. Maybe we can afford a couple of questions.
Oh, your questions? Yeah, I'll take some questions.
Guys,
usually people like this part. Usually,
they're already counting their cash to buy
okay.
Bitcoin.
Gentleman in the back, stand up and just speak up. And there's a microphone coming to you right now.
Thanks, very good presentation. Don't you think that you'll make it easier for criminals to transact using your card?
Yes. And then what? But so is money. I mean, criminals make it easy. This makes it easy for criminals to transact as well, right? So my point is, gold, cash, jewelry have all been targets of criminal and theft because it's valuable. Doesn't mean that we should outlaw gold, cash, and jewelry, unless that's what you think. We should just come up to the stage and relinquish all your gold, cash, and jewelry to me. Yeah, but you know, honestly, it's just a card with a QR code on it. We expressly make this to allow normal people to onboard and buy and hold and invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It has multi-cryptocurrency support. Okay, next question. Lady in the front.
Hi, Bobby Lee. Nice presentation. Easy to understand and follow. My question to you is, I really liked what you was talking about passing on crypto to the next generation. And I think a lot of us, maybe some of us don't really think about that. So my question is, you're saying your wallet makes it easy for people who are not crypto heads to purchase cryptocurrency. But then how does one educate them in protecting it? Because they won't understand the ease in which one could take that product and use it against them. So how would you educate an individual who has no experience? And what I'm thinking is, like, you know, some people will pass their assets on to a solicitor, but if a solicitor knows how to use crypto, they could then take that card and use it against them, right?
Yeah, so absolutely. I think education is a very important topic. It's so far been undervalued and hasn't been addressed well. I think that's why crypto adoption has been slow, relatively speaking. However, we are already past 10 years of Bitcoin, and the next 10 years I think will bring much greater adoption. I think the education process will ramp up faster and faster. And another way is when I try to make this product, we have that in mind. The idea is that before this product, all of your wallets, whether software-based or hardware wallets, require complicated setup, registration, login. They require SMS verification, two-factor authentication, passwords, passphrases, PIN codes, and resets, and all that stuff. Much, much harder for you to pass on to your children, whether they're of young age or grown-up age. But for this, the way to pass it is literally to give it to them and say, here is the crypto savings in Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and just keep it safe. And for most people in the physical world, unless you live in cyberspace, we know how to keep something safe, right? When was the last time you lost your gold watch, right? If you lose this because you did not handle it well. Like if I had 1,000 euros on here, I wouldn't bring it with me everywhere I go, or even 10,000 or 100,000. I would keep it in a safe somewhere, okay? So this is trying to make it easy. We're just doing it step by step, and education is very important. Thank you for that comment. Okay, one more question? Do you have time or no?
We have time. I don't see hands.
Anyone have a hard question for me? Okay,
Okay.
Gentleman there.
Two,
Yeah.
then
Okay.
quick ones.
Hi. You just said that you can hold Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ethereum on your wallet.
Yes.
So are there any other currencies that it can hold?
Yeah, we support over a dozen cryptocurrencies. So we just announced this last month. We're shipping this at the end of this month, early next month in November. So once we sell it on the market, you could download the app. It's called BALLET Crypto. It supports multiple currency activation all on the same card. So we're the first, this is the world's first. We're the world's first company to deliver you a physical wallet that can hold multiple currencies. Even though this wallet has a QR code for Bitcoin, once you use the app, you can get all the deposit addresses for all the other cryptocurrencies. There's over 12 and more coming in the next few weeks.
Thank you.
Okay, and then was there a question with this gentleman in front? Okay, last question, right? Okay, thank you.
Well, first, thanks for the 100 euro.
Yes.
I owe you one. Second, during the time of internet, when internet started, USA had the first step advantage because they started with ARPANET and stuff. Do you see any country currently having that advantage with Bitcoin?
That's a great question. So I don't think any country inherently has an advantage with Bitcoin. I'll talk about that two ways. One is because Bitcoin was designed to be global and has no barriers for geography, culture, language, and all that. Even though the word Bitcoin is made of what we call Latin characters, Roman numerals rather. Latin character set. It's not just for the Western world, right? The Eastern world, anywhere in the world, people can use Bitcoin. It's open source software. The language, is C++. It's just very, very standard. And plus, Bitcoin is not a centralized service. There are no central servers in the United States or Europe or Africa or China. What you might be alluding to is mining. Mining is global, but mining, supposedly there's a large percent of hash power in China. I live in China myself right now. I split time between Shanghai and Las Vegas, United States. I've been in Shanghai for the last 13 years. I don't see a problem because the issue with Bitcoin mining, even though there are many, many mining people in China, it's not limited to China. It's decentralized. There's no permission needed. If you want to set up the world's largest mining farm, you can set it up right here in Tallinn, Estonia. All you need to do is spend the money to build the capacity, right? So China's not going to stop you. Bitcoin core dev is not going to stop you. The Bitcoin users globally, nor companies cannot stop you from creating, 30% of the world's mining right here in Estonia. It's rather if you want to do it. You don't need a permission, you don't need a license. So in that sense, Bitcoin, it really is fair, right? It's really open to the world and anyone can do it and use it, whether it's for transactions, for wallets, for exchanges, or for mining.
But I mean is, do you see any country making the first step to try to get a privileged position in the geopolitics?
No, I don't think it's country-based. I think it's not about who's first. There's not necessarily a country first mover advantage. Some countries will eventually start holding Bitcoin as part of their government reserves, if you will. I don't think any countries have declared that yet, but several countries already have large holdings of Bitcoin from seizures of drugs and other criminal activities. So countries have seized Bitcoin as part of criminal activities. In the United States, they were famous for having auctioned off a large holding of Bitcoins when they seized it from the Silk Road. Do you guys remember that? Tim Draper actually won the auction and purchased it. But I think that was very silly and dumb for the US government to auction off their Bitcoins because they sold it for nothing compared to today's prices. And when prices keep going up, they will be really regretted. There will be billions of dollars of Bitcoin that was sold when they didn't need to sell it. So I've heard some countries, I forgot the name, but they also seize Bitcoins from criminal activities, and they should hold it as part of their state holdings, just like gold and silver. Yeah. Okay.